Hello everyone, the story I'm going to share today is Emperor Yao's great virtue. Emperor Yao was one of the 5 emperors in ancient China. He had a broad mind and loved his people like his own children. He had great wisdom in governing the country. Although he was the son of heaven, he was not arrogant. Therefore, people loved him and climbed onto him, like needing the sun in winter. They relied on him like being thirsty for rain in dry weather. After 70 years in power, Emperor Yao felt that he could no longer cope with the complicated government affairs. So he summoned his ministers to discuss the question of his succession. He asked, "Who is qualified to continue the throne after I'm gone?" Minister Fang Qi said, "Your son Danzhu is a reasonable person, so he can take over the throne." But Emperor Yao did not agree and said, "Danzhu is not benevolent and oftentimes aggressive. He likes fighting and arguing with others, so he's not qualified for the position of emperor. Think about other people. Who else may qualify?" Guandou said, "Gonggong has done many things, and his achievements are outstanding, so he can take on the important task of governing the world." Again, Emperor Yao didn't agree by saying, "Gonggong likes to find excuses for arguing. He's not decent. He looks respectful, but in fact, he doesn't even respect God. Such a person is not suitable for this position. I think Siyue has always been able to faithfully carry out my orders, so he should be qualified." Siyue immediately refused and said, "My virtue and ability are far from the requirement of this position. I really dare not bear the heavy responsibility of the emperor." Emperor Yao said, "Then please continue looking for someone, whether he is a close relative or family member, or even a reclusive saint, as long as he is both talented and benevolent." After discussing for a long time, the ministers unanimously recommended, "There is a man named Shun. He is 30 years old and he is not married yet. He is qualified to be the son of heaven." Emperor Yao nodded and said, "I've also heard him before." Not long after, Emperor Yao had his 2 daughters marry Shun to observe his behavior at home, and he also asked his 9 sons to make friends with Shun to observe the way he treated others. Under the influence of Shun, Yao's 2 daughters were very humble and treated their relatives cautiously. Everyone now praised them for their virtue. After being in the company of Shun for a period of time, Yao's 9 sons had become more sincere to people than before. Because Shun was humble and easygoing, when he was plowing farmland in Lishan, people there no longer competed for land, but gave away to each other. When he was fishing in Leyte, when making pottery by Yellow River, people there stopped making rough ones and replaced the inferior ones with good ones. As a result, all pottery produced was exquisite and durable. Everywhere he went, he used his excellent character to influence people. The people strived to live with him. People even came far away to see him. 1 year later, the place where he lived became a village. 2 years later, it became a market town. And 3 years later, it developed into a big city. Emperor Yao felt that Shun was really qualified. He thought, "Danzhu will be dissatisfied that he will not be allowed to take over the throne, but people will be able to live a happy life. If, however, Danzhu is going to be in the position, the people of the world will have to suffer and lead to a miserable life. I will not let the people in the world suffer. just to benefit Danzhu alone. Therefore, after 20 years of careful investigation, Emperor Yao decided to let Shun act as the emperor. 8 years later, Emperor Yao passed away, and everyone grieved as if his or her parents had died. During the 3 years of mourning, because they missed Emperor Yao, they did not play music once. After 3 years of mourning, Shun gave the throne to Danzhu, and he himself retired to the south of Southern River. But heads from all tribes did not go to Danzhu. They all went to Shun. Those who sang a song did not pay attention to Danzhu, but only praised Shun when singing. Upon seeing this situation, Shun said to himself, "This is God's will." So he went to the capital to hold a formal enthronement ceremony and to become the emperor. Shun served as the emperor for 39 years. He died on the trip to the south at age 101 and was buried on the south side of Zhouyi Mountain. Although more than 4,000 years have passed, the virtues and the achievements of Emperor Yao and Emperor Shun have been praised by later generations, and their noble morality is worthy of deep consideration by today's human beings. Thank you very much for listening to the story. More touching stories will be ready for you if you just subscribe it. Thank you again.